Thanks. Yeah, like Dave said, I'm Matthew Johnson. I am a partner in the 500 distro team. We're a team of 7 growth marketers and investors who work on just 500 companies. We're now expanding. About 2 weeks ago, we announced something really exciting. It's the 500 Distro Fund. It's a $10 million new strategy where we are investing in post-seed but pre-A companies that already have some notable growth, and then we invest, and then we work super hands-on to try and build that scalable growth engine to help them achieve escape velocity. So to help kick things off, we decided to bring 3 cool seed companies up to pitch on stage here, and we decided to borrow the brains of 3 awesome investors. Josh Ellman, who spoke earlier today from Greylock. Josh, if you're here, come up. Tina, okay, clapping, yeah. Tina Sharkey from Sherpa. And James Currier, I think most recently of NFX, Network Effects Incubator, also Uga Labs, Tickle. And so I think our first company right now is Inkshares, and Jeremy from Inkshares, crowdfunded book publishing.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jeremy Thomas, the CEO of Inkshares, and we publish books. This is a book. The average American reads 15 of these a year. Published authors participated in a $29 billion industry in 2014, and 65% of books sold were printed on paper. Now, prior to 2007, the only way to participate in the market was to convince a handful of acquisitions editors in New York City or an agent to take you on and give you a book deal. And if you were lucky enough to get a book deal, you would find as an author that the economics were abysmal. So in 2007, Amazon came in and they introduced Kindle Direct Publishing, which made self-publishing available to the masses. All of a sudden, anyone could publish their book. Readers could decide what they wanted to read, and the economics were amazing for authors. The problem is, Amazon is the big bad wolf in the publishing industry. And no other bookseller, no other book channel will sell a book published by Amazon. And that means that authors who go this route are limited to 40% of the market. They don't have access to 60% of the other places that books are sold. So what if you could combine the democratic nature of selection and the economics of self-publishing with the process and the distribution of traditional publishing? Well, that's exactly what we've done. And here's how. On Inkshares, authors pitch their book idea. Readers read chapter 1, chapter 2. They share what they like, and they pre-order books. A pre-order counts as a vote. We publish books that have enough pre-orders. And the dollars crowdfunded are all used to subsidize the production process of a book. That lowers our risk to push books into market, and it means that we can pay authors a lot more royalties. We have partnerships with companies. Girl Friday edits our books. We design, we print. With a partnership with Ingram, we distribute our books. We have access to almost every bookseller in the world. And we market books. We've sold over 30,000 books since we launched, and we paid authors over $40,000. We're growing 7% week over week in users, and we've seen amazing growth with new books being submitted to the platform. Our goal for the end of the year is 250,000 users. Why? Because that'll produce liquidity, and in that world, an author who's bad at fundraising will be funded nonetheless. And specifically, how are we doing that? Our data shows that people who are into dorklit, sci-fi, fantasy, startup books, are 4 times more likely to buy another book on Inkshares than anybody else. We have a great management team with experience at Microsoft and Amazon. We are Inkshares crowdfunded book publishing.
kick it off? So, nice job. Curious, how are you finding your readers? How are you building, the people who are creating interest in the books?
We have two methodologies. One is high touch. So two of my co-founders are devoted to going out there into the world, having meetings, hand-holding authors through. We have some pillar authors like Gary Whitta, who wrote the screenplay of The Book of Eli, and he's writing his second next Star Wars movie. He did his first book with us. That drew in a ton of fantasy and sci-fi readers. And then the second is through partnerships. We have a partnership with Sword and Laser, which is a big sci-fi fantasy blog. And through a contest with them, they're bringing in a ton of attention.
So authors and affinity groups.
Authors bring readers. Yeah, so we're focusing on authors.
Can you talk a little bit about sort of the Kickstarter delay and sort of funding a book and being excited about it and then seeing it show up later? How have you seen that play out in your community? Because I think a lot of times that kind of creates a disconnect and then people don't get as enthusiastic to fund new books and new projects.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's a good question. There's a long lead time to getting books out into market. Our authors keep readers engaged throughout the process. The meta story is really interesting to our readers. So they share pictures of crumpled up pieces of paper on the ground that were thrown in frustration writing the manuscript. And where our authors are successful engaging readers in this way, those readers become almost micro-evangelists once the book is published. And in some cases, we send readers an extra book so that they can give it to their friend and raise awareness of books that way.
What's been the repeat buying behavior from your users, I think is what you're calling them, and what's been the repeat publishing behavior from your publisher, your authors?
Nobody's repeat published yet. 29% of sci-fi fantasy readers buy another book. Site-wide, the number is 14.5.
So kind of as you scale this up, I mean, all the publishing houses are sort of seeing their economics get eroded by Amazon, by ebooks, by everything else. In some ways, you look more like a publishing house than you necessarily, and a little bit of a pre-order, but Amazon may still erode the actual margins if any of the books are any good. How do you think you can fight through that?
Our margins are great when we sell books on our website.
Right.
And if we're successful at attracting 250,000, 1 million readers who are engaging with our books, they're more likely going to buy books on our website, which is better for our authors, better for Inkshares. And so that will offset, I think, any erosion that we would see distributing our books through these more traditional channels.
Have you thought about how you might reconfigure the product to make the experience for the authors so much better, not just through the money, but through the prestige and the attention that they're seeking by being authors? Have you thought about what sort of infrastructure you do there so that you start to move up the stack in terms of authors to get more leverage on the system, which Josh is saying is going to come and try to take you out if you start to get scale?
That's right. I can say I'm a co-author of a McGraw-Hill book, which is true for me, and there's prestige to being attached to that brand. It doesn't exist for Inkshares yet. So what is that going to be? I think it's about moving books. Really what authors are into is being read. And if you look at all of our books, you'll see how many copies have been ordered for every one of them. And if an author could say, I've sold 15,000 of these, or I've sold 20,000 of these, I think that creates the prestige that would then create the effect you're talking about.
But to build on what James is saying, are you helping authors in advance of their books being sold, build their Twitter followers, host their Facebook pages, book their, do the podcast, most publishers today can't afford to put authors on book tours. They judge an author often by how much marketing comes with the book, right, because that author has already established their brand. Are you helping build that momentum and helping authors build their brands and their followings while they're actually writing their books?
We are only greenlighting books that fund, so there's already some sort of manifestation of interest with the readers anyway. The readers are subsidizing the production process of books, which means we can use that money and our own money to do some of these more traditional marketing things with less risk to the company. And we do this. Our books have been mentioned in the New York Times, Wall Street Journal, all sorts of blogs, etc. Once a book is greenlit, meaning it hits its funding goal, it is on us to take over marketing.
So is a long-term goal just books, or do you see this spanning out even more broadly as a platform? I think Andy Johns did a great job talking about how different verticals is really one good strategy for growth too. And I'd want I just don't know if books alone, like how big that can be versus going more broadly.
Yeah, I think we become a large business when we consider being a platform where the crowd can curate creative works. So when we see liquidity in books, will then go into other verticals. Movies would be an obvious one because many books are turned into movies. And we have a budding relationship in Hollywood that would actually make that more logical for us. Yeah.
Thank you. Good job. Good job.
Next up, I think we have Louise from Vint. Vint is Uber for fitness.
Yep. Thank you. So my time is not started yet because my presentation is not up. But I am on Twitter, Louise_King Louie. So get that down before we start because I guess some of you can't see it down in the corner. So yeah, my name is Louise Fritjofsen. I'm co-founder and CEO of Vint. Most of you have probably heard of us by now. If you have not, we are Uber for fitness. This means that we give you trainers whenever and wherever is suitable for your everyday life by the touch of your phone. So creating a healthy habit has never been easier. You see, most people want to get the benefit from working out, but you don't really want to do the work. And this became clear to me a couple years back. I'm the type of person that does more workouts than normal, and I noticed that people around me, they were not running, they were not swimming, they were not strength training, they were doing nothing. Until I took them with me, and I created a workout routine for them, and I guided them. And that impact my 1 hour a week had with these people were massive. These are people that had gym memberships, they had tried trackers, fitness classes, and they had never before managed to create a sustainable workout routine. When you're held accountable, when you're in a social setting, and when you're giving help and advice, that's when magic happens, and that is why we need Vint to exist. We have created a peer-to-peer marketplace. We have our members. You pay $95 a month, and for that price, you get unlimited hours with our personal trainers. You get them whenever, wherever is suitable for you. And if you can't figure out what's right for you, because you can do anything on our platform, boxing, yoga, running, strength training, you get help from your fitness concierge to tell you what to do, with whom, and when, and you have your weekly routine. Our workouts are provided by our passionate athletes. They make $45 an hour, and we give them the freedom to work whenever they feel like it. And we turn their passion into profit and respect. So here's the thing. Our platform gives you, you're going to feel great, you're going to look great. You're also going to make money or save money because this is very affordable. And we make sure that either you become closer to your aspiration with workouts, or we turn your passion into something that is professional. So essentially, we get you laid, we get you paid, and we get you made. What other platform can do this for you? That's freaking amazing. Okay, we launched in November in San Francisco. Since then, we had pretty good growth. On average, 140% growth per month. Our instructors are loving us. 7 of them have already left their full-time positions and are now only doing Vint. Great NPS scores, 65% organic growth. And yes, LTV and stuff is ridiculous by now. But as you can see, it's a sustainable model, and that's what I wanted to show you. The market is huge. $75 billion yearly is spent on fitness only in the US by 2017. That's the market we're going after. We're disrupting the $14 billion personal training industry, and we're going after the big dollars. Last part, my team, I'm very honored to work with this team. A big shout out. Together, we are founding employees of Spotify. We've founded and own the biggest business media company in Scandinavia. We've built behavioral change apps. And we've launched a social gifting service app in more than 18 countries. So now we're truly swinging for the fences. We've done this before, and we hope that all of you come with us on the journey. So only today, download the app today, use the 500 strong code, and I'll give you all a free month. Thank you.
What are the acquisition channels you're using right now on the customer side?
So we notice we have to build our brand a bit stronger. So when you have a great brand, of course the channels like Facebook and Twitter and everything else that we've been discussing today is going to work for us. But what is super efficient for us today is co-branding. Co-promotion campaigns with strong brands is cheap. It's pretty simple to set up, and we get huge user numbers coming in.
I'm sorry, how does that work? Give us an example.
So we start super simple with probably like an email swap of just doing email campaigns. We offer like a free month if you whatever the service is that we're working with, cleaning service, let's say, if you book your next cleaning within 4 weeks, you get 2 weeks of free personal training, so forth. If that works, we scale out, we do social media campaigns, we can do co-events. There's tons of different ways. But basically, we offer something to users where we see that our targeted audience is sort of the same. And we start easy, and then we scale in and do more and more like co-promotions together.
So you're charging, if it's $95 a month, that's for unlimited training or that's for unlimited concierge?
No, concierge is complimentary. So you pay $95, you get the fitness concierge, and you get unlimited hours with workouts too.
And so if you go a la carte, it's $45
Yes.
per session. And
Yes.
of that session, what do you pay the trainer?
So right now we pay $45 per session. So all the sessions have 4 spots. So if you want to do a personal training in a location, day and time, and no one else can make it, then it's only going to be you and your trainer. If someone else is also training for a triathlon or something, we're going to fill up the session with more people. But there's never going to be more than four people in one session. So you still have in the app communication with your trainer before, they check what you're eating, your nutrition, da-da-da-da. But all of a sudden you have a small fitness tribe. So you train with the same 2 people and your coach every week, that same day. So this is how the unit economics works out.
And how are you getting space for the fitness? Like, do these just take place in a public park or outside, or are you renting out space at gyms? Kind of what is that part of that economic?
Yeah, so in San Francisco, it's pretty easy for us because a lot of people want to work out outdoors. We started our test market in Stockholm. So I'm from Sweden. I moved here a year ago. So we tested this in Sweden where the weather is harsh. So in Sweden, for instance, we have partnerships with hotels. It's spaces that are never used. They have really good equipment, X, Y, Z. And we say, well, market your hotel to all of our users. Plus, we give all of your users a free personal training when they stay with you. The best thing a hotel can do is get more stars. And they're going to do that by having more service. So that was easy partnerships to set up. We haven't had time to do that here because here it's been easier to just get into residential buildings. Our users, our members are working at LinkedIn and Dropbox and Spotify and so forth. And most of these companies also have their own gym facility. And with the 1 member, our other 3 members per session can get into that. So we have about 30 curated indoor locations in the city right now that just member user base driven sort of. But we have tried the hotel deal in Sweden, and that's our intention of setting up here in San Francisco too.
What's the promise you make to the trainer in terms of their revenue or in terms of how it fits into their life? What gets them to do this?
Of course, money is a part of it, and right now they earn one fixed dollar per hour that they sell. But a big part of it is we're building community on our supply side, and that's way stronger than the money, I'd say. So we do happy hours, we do, come and learn how to use the TRX properly by one of our TRX pros in the community. We have our closed Facebook group. It's like a knowledge share. So a lot of these people, they've been running their full life. They've been doing 7 marathons, or they've been doing yoga their entire life. And they're like me. You're like trying to share it with your friends, but they're not really into it. And all of a sudden, they're in a community where everyone's super impressed by what you do, and you can share and you can learn. So that's huge for them. And also, we see that with other sort of marketplaces where freedom is a big part too. So we say, post as many or as few hours as you want every week. But what we notice is we have about 100 instructors waiting to be qualified by us right now. So everyone needs to be qualified to be in the app. And before letting more people on board, we always tell them, hey, we have more demand. Please add more hours, and we can increase our supply side by 30% in a week just by telling them. So supply they're passionate athletes. They love sharing, and this is what the company is built on and what we saw before launching.
How are you dealing with insurance and liability in terms of these people being certified or not certified, the
Thank
people
you for
who are
bringing
opting
that
in?
up.
You're welcome.
No, but that's it. We're doing the same thing as Airbnb and most other companies have done before as well, where we give you recommendations of which insurance to get, and we have sourced a deal with insurance companies so that you can get the one that supports you and your clients and everything. But our terms of service clearly states that you have to have your own insurance as of now.
Great job. Thank you.
Thank you. Awesome. Thanks.
Thanks, Louise. Last up of the 3 companies, we have Oliver from WePlan, the easiest way for Latin American tourists to book vacation activities.
Muy buenos días. Mi nombre es Oliver Camargo y soy el cofundador de WePlan. Les agradezco a todos por haber venido. WePlan is the easiest way for a Spanish-speaking tourist to book their vacation activities, such as show tickets, tours, or attractions. Many of you know that planning and booking a vacation is no vacation. But for a Latin American, it's not only distressing, but risky because of the high, unprecedented fraudulent rates, both online and offline. This is a typical store where a Latin American tourist would go to plan and pay for their vacation. I wouldn't even walk in. But they're consistently robbed, both here and online. It's simply not trustworthy. But for those of us that wait until you arrive at a vacation destination to actually book a vacation activity, well, we're all very familiar with this scene and just waiting in long lines and wasting valuable vacation time or paying through the nose when we go to a hotel concierge. There simply has to be a better way. And WePlan is that way. It's an online marketplace that makes it easy and secure for Spanish-speaking tourists to book activities. We leverage user reviews, premier partnerships with Cirque du Soleil, Disney, Eiffel Tower, and hundreds of others around the world to provide a trusted site. Our site is entirely in Spanish. We offer it in multiple currencies, so it's easy for the user to book. In fact, it was so easy in 2014, we generated over $1 million in revenue. We had an awesome year. But in 2015, our revenues are now 4 times what we were generating just a year ago. We built traction, and our traction speaks Spanish. And speaking Spanish is sexy. It's so sexy. It's so sexy that online travel spend in Latin America is growing 4 to 6 times as much as the United States. Dead center in a $10 billion market. It's a big market, it's growing, and it's underserved. And this is the team that's taking over Latin America. It's an international team with headquarters here in San Francisco and local offices in Barcelona, Sao Paulo, and Cancun. Not bad. These are some of our traffic and sales-driven channels. I've told you about the $1 million that we generated in 2014. I've shared with you that in 2015, our revenues are 4 times what they were just a year ago. And today, I'm proud to announce the beta launch of WePlan for the Brazilian tourist. And Brazil makes up over 60% of online sales in Latin America. Thank you very much.
Okay, so how do you build the trust that all of the other channels that they currently have to try to book vacations don't have? I understood the kind of the sort of shops and those might not feeling as trustworthy, but online, how do you actually change the way that you get trusted?
Sure. Well, first we speak their language, right? So it's not even prevalent in Latin America to have a professional site in Spanish. We give it to them in their currency. We make it easy. But we also partner with Cirque du Soleil and Disney and Eiffel Tower and a very long list of premier stores. We use user reviews to leverage. We also have been in press and CNN quite many times in Mexico and throughout Latin America. And we also do simple things like use user chat to just break the ice with our users. So sometimes we just have to hold their hand a little bit to get them used to the site, but for us, we're learning a lot. And we're learning about their pain points. We've actually chatted with over 15,000 customers, and we use that to improve the design, the content, the activities, and the destinations. And that's how we started to build trust.
So what are you doing to, with Expedia and Trip and Kayak and all of these travel services out there, you're like a value layer on top, but what are you doing to build a moat around what you're doing so that those services don't easily, create these concierge-like travel booking services on top of, because they already know all the destinations and they already understand where people are traveling and what their dates are?
Sure. So just to be clear, we don't sell any flights and we don't sell any hotels because everybody does that. And so we only focus on activities. And the activities that we actually offer on our website, over 50% of them, of the tours, are actually in the user's language. So you can travel to Berlin or London or New York. And so what we're doing is from end to end, from the time that you land, even through your experience, you're going to have an entire experience that's culturally aware. But we're just dead center focused on Latin America, and we could go through a long list of the problems that they have.
You talk about the growth. It's incredible growth, 4x over last year. Can you just break down the margins on that? What's 1.1? Is that a GMV number?
It's a gross revenue number. So we basically keep about 20% of that. It's probably, as we scale growth, we'll reach 30%.
And is your proposition to people that it's cheaper through you, or simply that you can get it in Spanish and be culturally sensitive?
No, the proposition is that it's a one-stop shop that's solving all of the problems that you currently have. So what we plan to do, and as we're developing, we want to offer an alternative that's 100 times better than anything that they can get in Latin America. And that includes language, currency, payment methods, experiences, online, mobile, a number of other things.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you have a concierge that's actually interacting and doing a diagnostic to figure out what people want to do, or are you just producing a list based on travel destinations and some sort of questionnaire?
Right. So you mean with regard to how we're choosing the activities? Okay. So we have a method basically to our identifying the activities and listing them out. Part of the things that we do is we actually identify suppliers that offer their activities in Spanish. That's where we start, basically. But we also make sure that we're offering activities that are quality and that sell out, because we love that. We love things that that sell out, because it generates a consequence for not booking that. Okay, in the 15,000 chats that we've had, that everybody on the team does, we actually have a schedule where 6 days a week we cover the chat. So myself, I've done 4,000. My co-founder's done 2,000. And so it's amazing how much information you learn. And based on that, we just basically continuous improvement.
Do you have people starting to come to you now on the supply side
Yeah.
to actually bring things to you? And how is that working? What kind of economics and arrangements do you think you can make for them?
So so right now we've probably gone into kind of the standard, but as we're driving sales of specific channels, we can begin to do things like improve some of the last-minute availability, probably offer exclusive tours for WePlan. Those are some of the things that we thought about, and then also some pricing advantages.
Thanks so
Thank
much,
you.
Oliver.
Great presentation. Thank you.
So I was remiss earlier and didn't communicate that we're going to talk to Josh and Tina and James later, and then we are going to invest $100,000 in one of these companies, and we will announce it later today. So. Thanks a ton.
And